Peace and blessings. Yes, Shabbat, not Shabbat, Shalom. Boy, I'm just in that mode already. But hey, Shalom, it's Yom Arba'ah, and we're delighted to be with you. We're glad to be back. And I just want to say, hey, I'm giving shouts out, yes, to the fam that are already coming into the room. Yes, peace and blessings to each and every one of you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You all are my family, and I appreciate you dearly. Listen, we're going to have a wonderful, we're going to have a discussion, right? We're going to have a discussion, and I just simply want to say before we go here that, you know what, we're going to be able to reflect as we take a look at the fifth commandment. And it's going to be one of those, I don't know, I think it's going to run deep. I think it's going to be something that is, wow, I think it's going to be therapeutic. We're about to get some work in. Let's go.
This day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to map and to pull down, to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so it sounds like you have a line open, like you can hear you kind of shuffling in the background, and the thing has an echo.
Oh.
It sounds like something's not hung up or something.
Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. I just heard that, my brother called me. Looks like I got something going on here with sounds and echoes and things. Let me do this. Let me see what I can do here real quick. I'm going to have to go, I have to stall and do a commercial, but here we go. Let me check it out.
Hi, I'm Melchior Uriel, and I'm so delighted to meet you. I'm glad that you stopped by. I'm glad that you're curious, and I'm glad that you clicked on the video.
Okay, the funny thing about that is, oh man, hey, when he called me, I guess that also aired. That's kind of funny, even though it's not, but it is. Okay, I guess there's an echo. Be right back.
There are increasing numbers of Hebrew Israelites all over the world, from Asia to Africa, from Mexico to Germany. There are Hebrew Israelites that are coming together as a nation.
I don't know what's going on.
You are needed to take your place as the educator of your families, your sons, your daughters. So we want you to enroll in Mount University so that you can take your place in the kingdom. Now is the time to prepare to create creatively centered, scholarly materials, educate others, teach your family, teach your sons, your daughters, teach the young, teach the old, and to bring them into the knowledge of the Most High. The Most High is gathering us together as He has promised. So enroll in Navi Beit University, connect with the administrators and the registrars, and enroll today for just $35 for a bachelor's per month, or $45 for a master's, or even enroll in the doctorate program. You can get a degree with a great focus at Navi Bay University. The grade of education, undergraduate, graduate, and specialty courses.
All right, hopefully we do not hear an echo. Let me see if we're good. I guess you can tell me if I have an echo or not. Just take a few seconds here, let me know if I have an echo. You know, it's really challenging, I tell you, man, some of these technical difficulties, but that's okay. Let me give a shout out to, oh wow, okay, Josh, this is even the commercials have echoes. What is going on here? Okay, let me try to turn some things down. Let's see. All right. Wow, that sounds like Diana Ross in the Wiz. Really? But I think I'm home. Okay. Be right back.
Hi, I'm Melky Uriel, and I'm excited to offer you a brand new course at Navi Beta Academy. One of the first courses that we're developing at Navi Beta Academy, and we're welcoming you. It's called the Hebrew Memorization Course. And perhaps you've been reading some Hebrew reference materials, and you know that the paragraphs are numbered by the Hebrew alphabet, as well as the verses. And you're wondering, well, how do I know which is which? If I want to go to a particular paragraph, how do I do that? You may also be wondering, well, how do I memorize the 10 Commandments? I want to be able to memorize the 10 Commandments and know them frontwards and back and be able to recall them in order and to know which commandment is which. As well as the Hebrew alphabet. I want to know the Hebrew alphabet, their numerical values from 1 to 400. I'm here to tell you that you can do that now. Now there is a course here at Navi Beta Academy where you will memorize the Hebrew alphabet from 1 to 22 and their numerical values from 1 to 400, as well as the 10 Commandments. All anyone will be able to have to do is to just either speak the number or the Hebrew alphabet, and you will be able to recall it. It's as simple as thinking of a number like 19. 19 in the Hebrew alphabet is Kaf, which its numerical value is 100, and its paleographic Hebrew symbol is that of the horizon. Let's say 3, right? Just a random number. 3 in the Hebrew alphabet is Gimel, and its paleographic Hebrew symbol is that of the foot, and also its number is 3. But guess what? Since it's 1 through 10, number 3 would represent the third commandment of the 10 Commandments, which is thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Well, how am I able to do that? I'm able to do that because I've been using this system for some time now, and I'm willing to offer to you through this course at Navi Beta Academy. That's right. You can take your time. If it takes you a week, if it takes you a month, if it takes you 2 years, it's up to you to just study at your own pace. The only thing we ask you to do is just to dig in with us. And I'll even let you in on a secret. You can start the course for free. So thank you very much, and we can't wait to see you on the other side.
Okay, what I'm going to have to do here, this is crazy. I don't know what happened between now and the last time. It's literally buzzing. Wow. Okay, let me figure this out. It's going to be something simple. Let me figure this out. You're going to be patient with me. Okay, Please be patient with me, my brothers and sisters. Hey, I need to see what's up here. Okay, I don't know if I've taken care of it or not, but please let me know. EJ Love in the house. Okay, all right. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, I found the culprit, y'all. I found the culprit. Yes, yes, yes. I did. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and. All right. Hey, well, let's do what we do here. All praises to the Most High. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Hey, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna have to edit this, or just I don't know. I'm glad that everything's fine, right? And you all are with me. So let me do this real quick. We're going to do just something real quick, but we do want to give him praise. Do want to pray, and so we're just going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, peace and blessings to each and every one of you. We're very glad to be here. Yes, the Most High has blessed us with another day. Baruch ataya o ki ataya dashe anachnu ha'am shalabrit shelech. Baruch atayo. Ein Elohim rak ocha. Slikalanu gam rakhamnanu. Ki ata hakol bishbelano yo. Ha'ainaim gam ha'oznaim ham patokim lifnecha. Toda yo. Toda Yao. Baruch atah b'hashemayim, Baruch atah b'ha'eretz. We bless him, we praise him, because he is worthy to be praised. Yes, he is. Now, I want to do a praise here. Yes, I do. But you know that little glitch, man. That little glitch kind of threw us off a little bit, but that's okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to praise him by going to a familiar place. Yep. And so we're going to have to do this slightly different, but hey, we're going to do it anyway. Here we go. We're going in with the praise right here, right now. In thee, oh Lord, do I put all my trust in you. Let me never be ashamed, in you. Deliver me in us never be ashamed. Never be ashamed in you. Deliver us in your righteousness and bow down thine ear to us, to us. Bow down thine ear, young to us, and deliver us speedily. You're our strong rock, forever our strong rock, strong rock. We love you, yeah. We give you praise, glory, and honor. We give him praise, glory, and honor. Yes, we do. We give him praise, glory, and honor. But guess what? We've got a lesson to get into. And I'm going to make absolutely sure that the phone line, is open, and it is, even though some of you are real shy about calling on Wednesdays, this is Yom Arba'ah. This is Yom Arba'ah, which is, to the other folk, it's Wednesday, right? And we're going to get into our subject. We're going to get into the lesson at hand. What is the lesson at hand? Well, now this one right here, this is going to be something that's really interesting, and it's going to run deep, okay? I guarantee you it's going to run deep. Why would I say that? Because this is the fifth commandment. And with this fifth commandment, this is what it reads. See it at the top? Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which Yah, thy Elohim, gives thee. Right? So you make absolutely sure that you honor your mother and your father, that your days may be long upon this earth. Right? Now, that's the commandment. We understand that to be the commandment, right? But now it gets really deep, because now let's look at different instances of this, and then we're going to ask some questions, and we're going to deal with some things that I feel, how can I say it? Some things that's going to affect us as we look at this in its depths, okay? Because first of all, we got to answer some questions. What does it mean to honor, right? What does it mean to honor your father? What does it mean to honor your mother? Is it just talking with respect, or are there other things involved in that? And then just a little bit later on, we're going to tap into, well, what do you do? How do you follow this commandment if your parent is imperfect? And notably imperfect, like devastatingly so, like they are messed up, they're toe up from the floor up. How do you honor your parent in the midst of them being imperfect, right? So we're going to touch upon that. We're going to deal with that, and we're going to go to a passage of scripture here. Let's take a look here, because now I want to show you something here. There is a physical aspect to this, and then there is a spiritual aspect to this. I'm going to say it again. There is a physical aspect and there is a spiritual aspect. Now, before I get into all of that, let's just say that when we take a look at the scriptures, that is from Bereshit all the way through to 2 Chronicles, which is the Hebrew Bible, okay? It is inclusive of what the Christians call the Old Testament, but only in its correct order. When we take a look at the scriptures, okay, which again, as I've mentioned, I've stated where they are, you will find out that there's something very interesting about the family. Okay, now let's begin this, and let me take you deep into this, because even though this is the fifth commandment, we have to begin to get an understanding by going to Bereshit. Okay, we're going to go to the third chapter, right? And we're going to deal with the first family, because this is a family matter. This is a family issue. So naturally, we're going to go to the first family. Now, the reason why we go here is because there's something in biblical interpretation that's called the first mention principle. In other words, the first mention of something carries weight, and it colors the definition of that and the function of that all through every other time that you read it in the scriptures. So when you look at the first time it's mentioned, it's that's going to carry throughout the rest of everything that you read in the scriptures. Well, then when we take a look at the first family, then you're going to notice some things. You're going to notice some things right away. And there's some things that I'm going to point out, some things that I'm pretty sure, that once I say them, you're going to be like, okay, so that's why that happened. So let's deal with it, okay? And I want to touch upon some things, and I want to say this. Let's do this. Let's go into this whole first family here, right? And I want you to see something here that of course, we're in Bereshit, the 3rd chapter, right? And I want you to see this because, oh my goodness. We understand about, in fact, here we go, I'm going in, okay? First and foremost, the beginning of Bereshit, 3rd chapter, says, now the serpent was more subtle than the woman. I'm sorry. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord our God had made. And he said unto the woman, yes, have not God said. Now we know about this whole dialogue between Chava and the serpent. Now, keep in mind that we're not talking about just any ordinary serpent, but we're talking about the serpent kind, okay? Because the seraphim are a group of angels that have a serpentine-like appearance, okay? Well, that being the case, when you take a look at this particular passage of scripture, Chava, she's got a couple of things going for her. She's spiritual, right? But also she's entertaining the wrong kinds of conversations, right? She's entertaining the wrong kind of conversations, and she's not giving correct answers. So let's look at this from the standpoint of family, okay? When you look at this from the standpoint of family, this is your mama. Okay, this is your mother, your mama, talking to a spiritual serpent being, okay? Because the Garden of Eden, remember what we said before about the Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, it was a spiritual place. It was a place where the Most High could walk. It was a place where there were angelic beings also present. It was a place that was just as much of heaven as it was of earth. And this is what the Most High wants to do again, and this is what we're working towards. But in this moment, when the heaven and the earth touched each other in Eden, Chava, who was created in that heavenly-like environment, is basically, she's having a conversation with a heavenly being, right? And so this spiritual being, this supernatural being here is talking with her. And this supernatural being is supposed to be guarding, right? Supposed to be guarding things. But yet, when you take a look at it, it becomes very interesting because your mother, okay, again, I'm going to style Eve because we're talking about family. Your mother's having a conversation with someone that she should not be having a conversation with, okay? And we know what that led to. That led to a number of things. That led to them disobeying the Most High. And you may look at that now, and say, well, how could that be? Now, if you notice the story here, it starts with Chava, and it starts with her talking to the serpent. Now, you'll find out here in verse number 6, as we take a look at verse number 6 here, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and so in other words, Chava let some other being entice her, get into her head, talk to her, okay, and persuade her to do something that she was not supposed to do, something that the Most High did not want her to do, okay? So let me say it like this. Your mama, okay, your mother in the presence with your father around somewhere allowed some other being to get into her ear and to entice her to do some things that she was not supposed to do, and she did it. Your mother did that. We just got done reading about that, okay? So let's take a look at it. So you notice here as we read verse 6 that she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband that was with her, and he did eat. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do this, okay? I'm gonna give you this side of it because I've never discussed this before. But what has been suggested, or what has been thought, that the reason why Adam was fooled, okay, the reason why our forefather was fooled was because what was going on between the serpent and the woman was more so on a spiritual level, that basically he got into her head and he was able to communicate to her without Adam knowing that they were communicating together. Okay? Maybe it was some sort of spiritual, maybe it was some sort of, hey, I don't know what it was, but here is the backdrop, that there was something going on between the spiritual being and Chava, where they got too close, and so now she's able to communicate with him without Adam knowing it. He gets into her head, and then of course she ends up sinning, right? And then now the way that it's painted is that she gives him some fruit, and it's like he doesn't know where it comes from. He eats it, and then he's like, aha, got you, aha. So yeah, so that's kind of like the picture that we could paint from this, right? But then take a look at it, because what we're saying that was our foreparents. That was your mother, that was your father. Way back when, that was your mother, that was your father. Now, as I began to describe Chava, Eve, it sounds all too much like things that go on today, where a woman will allow someone to get into her head, some dude that's talking right, talking good, and he'll get into her head, and the next thing you know, she will begin to emotionally, right? Maybe not physically at first, but she will do what they call emotional cheating, right? Because she'll harbor that individual in her heart, and it'll be dear to her, and whatever, she'll be thinking about it, giggling to herself in the corner. Well, okay, we understand what that is, and we may say to ourselves, well, how in the world could my mama, how in the world could my daddy, how in the world could my daddy let her fool him like that, right? When you look at Isaac and Rebecca, how in the world could, they pull tricks on this man? I mean, it's just, how in the world could they do that? Listen, let me share something with you, okay? As we get into this lesson, there's something I need you to understand. There's something I need you to know. Your family is the first portrait that you get of a sinful world. I'm going to say it again. Your family is the first picture and portrait that you get of a sinful world, okay? Everything, see, the way that the Creator made everything is its own ecosystem. What do you mean by that? I mean that everything is complete in itself. In every family, you just look amongst your relatives. I can guarantee you look amongst your relatives, I can tell you what you're going to find. You're going to find someone that's super holy, super religious, love church, whatever, blah, 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 super serious. Then you're going to find that opposite extreme. You're going to find somebody else that's full of the devil, will cuss, will, cut you if people that you can't leave your purse around. Every family's got some crackheads. Every family's got somebody that's been in prostitution. Everybody, listen, I'm telling you, your family and our families are the first portrait of the world in all of its rawness and all of its sin and all of its degradation. And it was made that way because at any given point in time, no matter how few we are or how many we are, we represent humanity at large. And I'm talking about the present state of humanity, okay? We represent the present state of humanity at large. So in every family, you're going to have somebody that's cray-cray. And then in every family, you're going to have someone that's super, just, oh, yes, I love God. But you're going to have those extremes within your family. And so as we take a look at the first family, they are a picture of they're a picture of real people with real issues. Well, what do you mean Adam and Eve and how? They had some real issues, okay? I'm not going to go back over some of the things that I mentioned when I was dealing with Cain, asking whether or not, and in fact, I got into the whole epigenetics thing, and I got into the fact that Adam had issues, and we dealt with a number of those things. But suffice it to say, for this conversation, that there were issues that they had. Okay, and I'm talking about Adam had emotional issues, right? And so wait a minute, but let me touch upon that a little bit, since this does apply. Okay, if we go back and we go into the second chapter of Bereshit, okay, I want you to notice something here in verse number 18. Okay, and it says, "And Yah Elohim said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make an helpmeet for him." Okay? So, when the Most High looked at Adam and said, it is not good, he was noticing that Adam was behaving in a way, Adam was showing symptoms and signs that he was in need. Okay? Because the Most High is very patient. The Most High is long suffering. He puts up with things that we do. He puts up with things. Yes, he does. And he's just very long suffering. I'm going to say that. But for him, for the Most High to notice that it was a problem, it was something that was very persistent. Okay? It was something that was very persistent. Just like when we're here in Bereshit, right? But when we go to the 4th chapter and we look at the 7th verse, we see here that Cain is envious of Abel. Cain's got an issue. Now, I want you to notice here what happens, right? Notice here in verse number 5. But unto Cain, now this is the first family, so let's pay attention. But unto Cain and unto his offering he had not respect. And Cain was angry, and his countenance fell. Cain was affected emotionally because the Most High did not accept his worship. Okay? We look at Cain and be like, Cain was so evil. Cain killed his brother. Cain was good. Do you know what is at the foundation of Cain's sin? It was worship envy. It was envy of the Most High. He wanted the affections of the Most High. He wanted to please the Most High. Cain is a perfect example of doing the right thing the wrong way. He wanted to please the Most High, but rather than him dealing with his, basically doing the work, like Iyanla says, working on himself, hey, why in the world did I mess up like that? How did I do that? No, he strikes out against his brother. Okay? So the reason why he's hurt is because he wanted to be like the Most High, in the sense that he wanted to please him. He wanted his offering to be accepted. He felt rejected. And in fact, we know that Cain had the Most High on his mind, because even when we go down just a little bit further, okay, we go down a little bit further, and what then do we read? Okay, the Most High told Cain, he says, look, sin is crouching at the door like an animal, but you're going to rule over him if you make the right choice, right? So then Cain ends up talking to his brother, and he makes the wrong choice, and he slays him, right? So then the Most High comes to Cain and says, look, where's your brother? Okay, you slew him. I went up too high. He says, basically, you slew him, right? Cain went, talked to his brother, slew him, right? And the Most High came and said, Cain, where's your brother? Where's your brother? And he said, man, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? Is it my turn to watch him? And the Most High said, what have you done? He said, the voice of your brother's blood cries unto me from the ground, right? Now, look at this. Look at this. I'm going to prove to you that Cain had God envy, or he had worship envy. He was envious of how his brother was accepted by the Most High. He wanted to be accepted by the Most High. This is one of the weirdest psychoses I've ever seen in Scripture. But notice here, Cain said unto Yah, because he said, you know what, man, you're done. You're going to have to leave, right? You're cursed. The ground ain't going to do nothing for you. And then Cain said, man, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Now notice what he said. Behold, you have driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. This was, listen, he said, my man, I can't bear this, because now my face is even going to be hidden from you. He still had envy. He still was dealing with the fact that he really did want to be accepted, and he really did want to be pleasing unto the Most High, but he let it get the best of him. Okay? And so he killed his brother because he wanted to, listen, this is the weirdest psychosis one of the weirdest that I've seen in scriptures. He wanted to be like them, wanted to be pleasing to the Most High so much that he killed his brother. Okay? Well, he again, he was envious, and he didn't hate his brother. He just wanted the Most High's affection, and he wanted the closeness of the Most High. And you will have in every family someone who does, man, they're trying to do the right thing, but they're doing it the wrong way. Okay? So then let's talk about this, because now this is the first family, and in every family, you're going to have a depiction of the world itself, right? And it could be more extreme, it could be not so extreme, but you're going to have the representations of the world, okay, in your family. So now, wait a minute, let's go back to this commandment, because the family then is a picture of the world. So then look at this: honor your mother and your father, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God gives you. So wait a minute. So let's talk about honoring your father and your mother. So then what does that mean? Well, let's take a look at this other scripture, Leviticus 19:3, which also gives us insight into honoring your mother and your father. Again, I said there is a physical dimension and there's a spiritual dimension, okay? There is a physical side to this, and there is a spiritual side to this. The physical side to this deals with, in fact, I'm going to show you the scriptures, right? Let's just get into it. I'm going to show you the scriptures. Notice what it reads here in Leviticus 19:3. It says, ye shall fear every man. In other words, you shall have reverence for, not fear as in, ooh, I'm afraid they're going to smack me, even though our parents did. Some of our parents did give us, some of our parents gave us whoopings all the time. Like, I was one of them children. I'm gonna say, like, I ain't even gonna play. I deserved it. Every whooping I got, I deserved double. I really did. But notice what it reads here: ye shall fear or reverence every man his mother and his father. The Most High has always desired that we, who are in his image and in his likeness, would always honor the source, the first. Honor where you came from. Honor your foundation. If you go throughout the scriptures, you'll see that the Most High, he's very sentimental, if you will, and he notes things that are first. He notes things that happen, and he's always commanding us to make memorials and set up these stones in memory of this day. We crossed the Jordan, right? He says, hey, make sure that once you get on the other side, I want you to do 12 pillars, and one pillar for each. So he's very, very sentimental and very reminiscent of what's going on, and always wants you to honor the first. And so when you look at the parents, okay, the parents are kind of like, if you will allow me to put it this way, the parents are kind of like a holy office, if you will, that you're not supposed to touch as a child. You're not supposed to touch it as a child. It's kind of like the tree in the garden, right? That belongs to the Most High. Let the Most High deal with that. That belongs to the Most High, but you honor it, right? And you respect it, okay? So then take a look then at this, and we see that we're supposed to revere and respect every man, his mother and his father, and keep the Sabbaths of the Most High, because he says he is the Lord our Elohim. Now, notice here it says, ye shall fear every man his mother and his father. Well, now, okay, someone actually said, well, it didn't say that for the women. It didn't say the women's. Well, no, this goes for you too, right? This goes for you too. Because if you notice, even in just what we read about Chava eating from the tree, the Most High told the man not to eat of the tree, right? But yet, and still, we see that, yeah, she was judged because she was not supposed to eat of it either. What goes for the man also goes for the woman, because the woman is a kind of man. Man, Adam, simply means humanity. And the woman is the female version of man. Man himself is the masculine version of man. And so both of them are man and both of them are mankind. I can even prove that to you from scripture as we go to Bereshit, which is Genesis. For you English speakers, chapter number 5. Let's take a look at the first verse. Notice what it reads here in 5:1. This is the book of the generations of Adam in the day that God Elohim created man in the likeness of God made he him, male and female created he them, and blessed them and called their name Adam. Okay? He called their name Adam, because both of them were mankind. Adam actually means mankind. So he called their name mankind in the day that when they were created, which also suggests that their names may not have been literally Adam and Eve, but that's neither here nor there. That's not the topic of our discussion. What we need to see here is that they were together, and what goes for the masculine male version goes for the feminine version. You can't get out of it. So when the Most High says, hey, don't lay with a man shall not lay with a man as he does with a woman, that also goes for the woman, that she's not to lay with a woman as she would a man. Okay, many people feel like, well, they're excused because the Most High didn't say so specifically. No, what goes for the man also goes for the woman. Well, moving right along, let's take a look then at some more scriptures in relationship to this, because now this is the commandment for us. Okay, last one that we hit was Leviticus 19:3. Okay, that says that every man shall reverence. Now, this is the spiritual part. You're going to reverence your mother and your father, okay? You're going to reverence them. But wait a minute, there's also another side to this, because I want you to see this. In fact, I'm not going to go there right now. Let me do this. Let me go back, and I'm going to go all the way down to verse number 17. Oops, I went too far. Okay. Even though we deal with each other, okay, and we deal with each other in such a way that, hey, we're family, right? And we did not choose our brothers or sisters. We did not choose our parents, right? Neither one of us filled out an application and said, I want that to be my mama, that to be my daddy. I want this to be my family, okay? Because every family has someone that's crazy in it. Every family has someone that's dealing with issues. No family is perfect, right? So we've been placed in our families where we are, okay? And we're there for a reason. We're there for a purpose, right? Perhaps you're the one that's going to bring light into your family. Perhaps you're the one that's going to be the example, if you will. Maybe you're the one that's going to be the adult in the room. Maybe you're the one that's called by the Most High to bring them into truth and to bring them into a deeper understanding. Maybe you're the one that the Most High is calling to break generational curses. Okay? We're all in our families for a reason. Well, let's take a look at some other scriptures, because what I want you to see here is that this really does apply to family, okay? This does apply to family. Verse number 15, ye shall do no unrighteous judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the persons of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people. All of this fits for family All of this fits that we're not gossipers, right? Neither shall you stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am Yah. Verse number 17, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. This also goes for your mother and your father. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. And you are your brother's keeper. You are to watch out for your brother. Yes, you are, as it's written up here, you are to stand in judgment, right? And as we've already read, you're to do righteous judgment. Even when in verse 15, this includes, yes, in the midst of your neighborhood and your family. And of course, it begins with you. So yes, you are your brother's keeper. You are a part of your family. You are there to help and to correct. But not to do it as if I'm going to force them to be the way that I want them to be. No, of course not, right? We don't do it that way. But you're there to be an example. You are there to be a light. Well, let's continue this and let's continue forward because we do have some other scriptures to get into. But I want you to notice something as we continue. He that curseth his father and his mother. You see that? He that curses his father and his mother shall be put to death. Honoring your mother and your father was so important that if you truly from your heart looked at them with disdain and cursed them, okay, then yes, you were dealt with, because the Most High does not like when we destroy or we don't honor our source where we came from, okay? Now, we're going to get into the fact, well, what about when they're not perfect, okay? What about when they do you wrong? What about, okay, we're going to get into that in just a minute. But notice here, what we're talking about here is that he says, well, if you curse your mother or your father, basically you're done for, okay? The Most High does not tolerate that. The Most High does not like that. I know that in this day and age and this society, it has become very acceptable, okay, for a child to just do anything. I mean, fight their parents. And we're going to see just a little bit further that even that is not to be done, right? You're not to fight your parents. You're not to fight with them, okay? Notice you are to respect them, to honor them, and to revere them. This is Leviticus 19 and 32. It reads that you shall rise up before the hoary head, or the gray-haired individual. You're going to rise to your feet. You're going to stand up. Okay, when they approach, when they sit down, and when they get up and when they leave, you're going to do that because you're going to honor those, okay, that came before you. Now, in our African culture, we have ancestors right now. I'm talking about ancestor adoration, not ancestor worship. Okay, there is a difference. So I'm talking about honoring your ancestors that have come before you. Right? Honoring them, honoring those who are older than you. Because you know what? When you get older, you're going to want someone to respect you. You really are. You shall rise up. It reads here that you shall rise up before the gray-haired ones and honor the face of the old man. And you're going to fear your Elohim. Right? This is what he says for us to do, because this is a part of our being able to honor our mother and our fathers. Okay, so he that smites his mother, he that hits his mother or his father, right, it's going to be put to death. But wait a minute. Also, he that curses his mother or his father shall surely be put to death. So basically, you're not to hit your parent. You're not to curse your parent, right? You have to watch what you say. You're to revere them, to honor them, and to respect them, okay? But there's also more. There's also more that goes along with that, okay? Notice what it reads here in Proverbs 1, 8 through 9. Proverbs 1, 8 through 9. Notice what it reads here. It reads, my son, now keep in mind what goes for the male version also goes for the female version, okay? So he says, hey, look, son, look, boy. Hear the instruction of your father, and forsake not the law of your mother. Okay? For they shall be an ornament of grace unto your head, and chains about thy neck. You know, they're wearing gold chains too back in the day, right? So he says, listen, honor your mother and your father. Listen to our instructions. So now we have basically three directions that we could go in order to walk this out. One, we're not to be do anything physically against them. Okay, we are to respect and to revere them for who they are. They are our source, our foundation. But also we are to listen to their wise counsel and their instruction. Okay. Now, please hear me when I say this. Listen to their wise instruction. Okay. Because not everything that everyone says is the right thing to do, even though they may be your mother or your father. The Most High never expects us to disobey Him in obeying a parent in trying to obey Him. It doesn't make sense. We're always obligated to obey the Most High, okay? Even when your parent says something that is against the words of the Most High, you have a right to stand upon the word of the Most High. Okay, you're not obligated. You're not obligated to do sin and to do wrong just because they're your family member. Okay. All right. So, in continuing forward, a fool despises his father's instruction. Where is that found at? Well, it's right here in Proverbs 15:5. A fool will despise his father's instruction, and he that regardeth reproof is prudent. Now, okay, I'm going to say this because my grandson asked me. He said we were having a conversation. We were having a conversation about time, and you know, when you're having a conversation about time, someone will ask the question, "Well, if you could go back in time, tell me one thing that you would do." Well, one of the things that I would do is I would listen. I would listen to the adults. I would listen to the older. I would listen to the aged wisdom that was in front of me. I was so young. I was so mesmerized by my own opinion that I didn't want to listen to anybody. Okay. I never forget, my uncle spoke to me, and he was really trying to plead with me to change and do some things. And, you know, I wasn't wild and crazy, but just I was making some foolish decisions, and he was really trying to talk to me about it. And all I was thinking while he was talking to me was, man, I ain't gonna never end up like him. I ain't gonna, man, please, he talking crazy. I ain't gonna, you know, and here I am, I'm just so full of my own opinion, and and now that I'm older, I do wish I could go back and heed some of the wise counsels. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I'd be rich. I'd be I'd be much better off today if I had have listened. This is the problem with, I feel like it's a problem with our present condition, our society, because we don't build, okay, upon the wisdom of those that came before us. We act like we got to find out for ourselves. Some of us do, right? Many of us do. We act like we have to find out for ourselves. Well, hey, thing about it is, we really don't. We really can glean from the ancestors. And so to do that, you got to honor your mother and your fathers and those that have gone on before you. So as we continue here, whoever curses his mother and his father, here they are. They brought you into the world, but you're wishing evil upon them and using your ability to tap into the power of the Most High. You're going to use that ability to curse and to hurt your parents. The Most High does not like that. He says, you know what? Whosoever curses their father and their mother, his lamp is going to be put out. Okay? We are to hearken or listen unto the Father that begot you, and despise not your mother when she's old. This is a part of the fifth commandment of honoring, okay? Honoring your mother and your father. Okay? Notice what else it reads right here. Let me stay right here for a second. Look at what it says in verse number 24. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that begets a wise child shall have joy of him. The father, your father and your mother shall be glad, and she that bare thee shall rejoice. My son, give me thine heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways. Okay? So he's talking to us, letting us know, son, hey, you don't have to repeat the mistakes that I've made. You don't have to, and see, this is a part of parenting, and this is why, listen, a good parent will understand that the reason why little Egbert has the problems that he does is because, guess what? I probably gave him some of those traits, some of those tendencies, right? So one of the things that I talk about when I deal with epigenetics is the fact that as parents, we give our children the potential to have some of the same mess ups that we have, right? Which is why we have to do the work, right? So then we can share with our child, hey, you see that point right there where you're messed up? I gave you that. And yeah, this is how I conquered that. But too many of us want to be so, we want to pretend to be perfect before our children. And they know that you're not perfect, right? But we want to pretend as if, we're so perfect. We're not honest. We're not genuine, okay? And so we actually teach them how to camouflage what's really going on, how to camouflage what they're really feeling. We actually teach them how to be that way, okay? We teach them how to stand up in ego and defy the truth just because they have ego. We teach them that, okay? But if you were to go to your child and say, hey, I know that you've got this particular problem right here, and guess what? I gave you that. I had part in that because I had to deal with the same thing. I said it before and I'll say it again. I had to go to all my children and apologize to them. I say, can you see the mirrors right there where you messed up? Please, I know where that came. I know where that came from. Came from me. No, I'm like, came from your mama. No, I'm like, no, it came from me, and I helped them to get over what it is that I gave them, right? So, as I continue here, just a couple more scriptures, right? Whosoever robs his father. What? You mean to tell me that someone would actually take something from their parents? Well, I mean, I'm saying, and not be a crackhead? Yeah. Whoso robbeth his father or his mother and says, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I could steal from my mama if I want to. I could steal from my daddy. They were put here to take care of me. Yeah. Listen, my mom used to give us a poem when we turned 18. She used to give us this poem, and she gave every last one of us the very same poem that says, after the, I love you and I'm glad that you're my child. It always ended with this. Now that you're 18 and you're considered to be grown, all the money you get will be considered on a loan. And basically she was letting us know, hey, things have changed now, buddy. Okay? I'm not here to take care of you anymore. Okay? And I really do stand on that. Hey, I'm not here to, if you're an adult, there comes a time when we have to stop with all the, can you, do you have any extra money? As if there is such a thing as extra money. So let's get back into the scriptures here. So we are to honor mother and father, okay? But notice what it reads here. He says that there is a generation that will curse their mother and curse their father. And they're doing more than that today, right? The eye that mocks his father, okay, and despises, the eye that mocks at his father and despises to obey his mother, the ravens of the valley shall pluck it out. Now, there is a law, okay, and I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that in just a second. But it reads in Malachi 1 and 6. Now, this is not the law. Let me go here before I hit the law. Malachi 1 and 6. A son honors his father and a servant his master. But then the Most High said, if I be a father, where is my honor? So there is honor that is meant to be given, if you will, to a father, okay? But now I want you to see something here, and that the family dynamic, basically it can be deep. And the families that we have today, I know there's a lot that goes on today. And I know that when we look at the scriptures, there's a different culture. We don't have that same culture today. There's a different culture when it comes to family in the scriptures. And when it comes to a number of things, but especially family, there's a difference of culture, right? There's a difference of culture so much to the point to where when you look at this and you understand what happened in Numbers, the 12th chapter. You remember Numbers, the 12th chapter? Again, it was a family issue. Miriam and Aaron came to Moses and said, look, we sick of your wife. You shouldn't have married her. Why in the world did you bring her up in here anyway? You know she ain't one of us. Well, okay. Most High heard it, right? And they, you know, they just kept on talking. Well, you ain't the only one that teach. You ain't the only one that's anointed. We anointed too. And I mean, they kept going. The Most High came down, heard it, judged, and said, look. Okay, I'm going to deal with y'all for this. And so basically Miriam was struck with leprosy, right? Miriam was struck with leprosy. And so then we pick up where Moses cries out to the Most High and was like, oh man, please heal her, right? So here we go. Verse number 13. And Moses cried unto Yah, saying, heal her now, please heal her now. Oh Elohim, I beseech you, I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you, please heal her. And Yah said unto Moses, look at this, if her father had but spit in her face. What? If her father spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out of the camp 7 days, and after that, let her be received in again. Basically, Miriam had to leave for 7 days, and then she was allowed back into the camp. But guess what? That shows you that there were some dynamics working in the family where, you know, today they talk about spankings and, you know, I'm going to give you a spanking, little Egbert. But back then in the day, I mean, apparently fathers, by means of discipline and showing displeasure, would actually spit in the daughter's face. That's deep. That's hurtful, right? But again, remember what I'm saying. The family is a crucible. It's a tiny little sample of the world, okay? And there are things that will happen in the world that will hurt you. Okay, so the family dynamic was definitely different back then. Okay, so then let's also take a look at another dynamic, and then I'm going to stop by the chat room and see what you guys are saying, and then we're going to get into, well, what about when they're not perfect? Well, there is an aspect. I told you there was a spiritual aspect and there's a physical aspect, right? The physical aspect includes taking care of your parents when they get up in age. And I know that can be a mouthful, that can be a handful, okay? I thank the Most High for my sister. She took care of well, it was my mother's desire that my sister take care of her. And, man, my mother ended up needing 24, when I say 24-hour care, she needed care almost like on the hour. It was, you know, it was very taxing for my sister, right? And I do thank the Most High for her. And it was just really trying, okay? But there is a way that you honor your parents by taking care of them, okay? When they're old and they cannot take care of themselves. Now, I am going to go, by way of example, I am going to go into the Christian New Testament only because Yeshua ben Yosef gives us an insight as to what they were thinking in that particular day regarding this issue, and it does actually show what they were doing in that day, okay? And it also shows how, just a little bit on how to honor your mother and your father. Let's go there. Believe it or not, this is Matthew 15, okay? And we're just going to look at this because this is a snapshot of what they were dealing with apparently in that day, okay? It says, for Elohim commanded, saying, honor your mother and your father, and he that curses father or mother, let him die the death. Yeshua ben Yosef, apparently being a prophet, he was standing for, even though he was not Yahweh in the flesh, he did follow the law, and he did say, hey, I'm standing for even the death penalty when it comes to honoring your mother and your father, okay? But he said, but y'all say, whosoever shall say unto his father and his mother, hey, what I was going to take care of you with, it is a gift, okay? It's just a gift, and I promise it to the temple, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have ye made the commandment of Elohim of none effect by your tradition. And by the way, this is what I do not like about rabbinical Judaism, okay? They have traditions that defy the word of the Most High, okay? So in this, we see that, yeah, that they would say, hey, I was going to take care of you, but the money I was going to give you or the money I was going to use to take care of you, yeah, I promised that to the temple. I promised that to God and stuff. So then they'd be like, oh, okay. But this is not to be. We are to honor our mother and our father. So now, what happens when your parents are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? What do you do when your parents are on crack? What do you do when your parents, you know, when your mama is an alcoholic, and I don't know anybody's situation. I'm just pulling scenarios out of thin air. What do you do when your parents are not perfect? Okay? We're going to talk about that in just a second. Be right back. All right, so what do you do when your parents aren't perfect? What do you do? What do you do? How do you follow this commandment when your parents are not perfect? Right? Well, and at all points, at all times, we are obligated, and let me take you right back here to a passage of scripture that we already looked at, but let me take you right back here so that we can kind of glean an understanding of our responsibility, okay? When it reads here, it says here, you know what? You are going to respect the gray head, right? But he says here, you know what? There's some things that I want you to understand here about honor and about respect. Yes, you're going to honor, right? You're going to honor them. You're going to respect them. You're going to love them. But guess what? When it comes to you following my laws, my statutes, and my commandments, the Most High says, well, you're obligated to do that. You're obligated to follow my laws, my statutes, and my commandments. You are not obligated to do sin in order to please a parent, right? As we look at Leviticus 19, it says, yes, you're going to fear your mother and your father. You're going to keep the Sabbaths of the Most High, right? But then in here, it gets into some of the social dynamics, okay? We're not to steal nor to deal falsely, neither lie unto one another. We're not to defraud one another. We're not going to steal from one another. We're not going to be a talebearer. We're not going to. But notice, ye shall do no unrighteous judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Now, wait a minute. There's a lot in there. There's a lot that we could unpack, because basically what this says is you're not going to respect the person, okay? You're going to honor who needs to be honored. You're going to respect who needs to be respected. But no matter who it is, you're going to allow your judgment to be righteous. And you're going to stand on righteous judgment even when you are confronted by someone that is a family member that is doing wrong. Okay? We are not to pity. We are not to take up. We are not to hide, if you will, the transgressions of anyone. Okay? We're not to hide the transgressions of anyone, but rather we are to stand in judgment. So this means, that if you have a parent that is not right, there's something wrong, then they need ministering to, right? But it doesn't mean that you have to do what they say and you have to say, oh, you're just the greatest and you're just the most perfect parent. I got to respect you because that's what the Most High said. No, you have to stand in truth, okay? You have to stand in truth. And I'm going to say this, some of you are messing people up. Oh, let me just go to the scripture here. Let me go to this scripture. Ezekiel 18. I want you to see how the Most High forgives, which is the way that we're supposed to forgive, okay? I'm going to start at 21. It says, if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he has committed and keep my statutes and do that which is lawful, he shall surely live, he shall not die. All his transgressions that he hath committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him. In his righteousness that he hath done shall he live. Stop right there. Hold the phone. Because forgiveness, you just saw what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is merited. Forgiveness is deserved, not by some kind of, magical hocus pocus, but forgiveness, according to the Most High, forgiveness comes when you do the right thing consistently. You're showing that, hey, if I used to steal, I don't steal anymore. You can leave your money there. I'm not going to pick it up, right? When you show that, when you demonstrate that, then the Most High says, you know what? You have proven, by your actions, you have proven that you have changed. And so I'm not going to mention any of those things to you again. This is what forgiveness is in the scriptures, okay? And again, Ezekiel 20 all the way through 23, you could say, right? But your sins are forgiven through your righteous acts, through your consistent righteous acts, right? So then what happens when you have a family member that's doing you wrong and they keep doing you wrong, okay? Well, you're not supposed to forgive them until their consistent actions, their consistent heartfelt actions demonstrate that they're not that way anymore. Okay? They have to demonstrate that they're not that way anymore. Because trust has to be merited, trust has to be earned. Right? You can honor your mother and your father, right? You can honor them even at a distance. But when it comes to being obligated to just bow down and do everything that they say and say that they're the greatest parents, you don't have that right. You don't have a right to lie in trying to please the Most High. The Most High never asked you to do that. Okay? Let me do this real quick. Let me go and see what you all are saying here in the chat room. All right. Let me look at now again. Hopefully you all are, if there's something addressed to me, hopefully you will. Oh my goodness. I don't think I gave shouts out, y'all. I don't think I gave shouts out to anybody. Okay. First of all, to the first one that was here tonight, to my brother from another mother, Bergen Paris himself. He's the chief moderator. Also to Josh and Penny, yes, to Josh and Penny, who are the dynamic duo. I'm so thankful for them. EJ Love is in the house, as well as Anime OG TV. And who else is here? I thought I saw George Evans in the house. KOI Oklahoma is in the house. Yep. Yirmiyahu Israel is in the house. Peace and blessings to you. Christine Croning is in the house. Good evening. Good evening. Erev Tov to you. All right, who else do we have? Who else do we have? I thought I saw another name. Jacqueline E. Bugs is in the house. Yep, yep. So I don't see anything that is addressed to me, so I will continue. Okay? And so here we go. When you have, what do you do when you have a parent? How do you honor a parent that is not right? How do you honor a parent that may be gone, but even though they're gone, you yet hear about their imperfections. You yet hear about the fact that they are, that they were this, they were that, right? And you hear stories. It's kind of like that song that I absolutely hate, by the way. A song by, it was the 3rd of September. Papa was a Rolling Stone. And by the way, they were made to sing that song. They did not want to sing that song. They were made to sing that song. That's not a song that they wanted to even participate in, right? And through many songs like that, they were really painting a negative. They're shedding a negative light on the black family. But nonetheless, let's just simply continue. What do you do when your parents are not right? Okay, what do you do when they're gone and you hear that they've done so many wrong things, right? Let me share with you something. I'm going to share with you something. There is music being heard. Oh, was that my singing you talking about? Was that my sing? No. I don't know. Hold on. Let me see where the music is coming from. Let me see. Let me see if some music is actually playing in the background here. Let me see.
It's 9 o'clock.
Okay. Well, I don't. I do not. I don't know where that music could be coming from. Hopefully, it's not loud music. Yeah, I do not know where that music is coming from. All right, all right. I hear music. She says, "You know what I mean. I can't hear the beginning of the song without hearing the remainder." It was the 3rd of September. Now, listen, I don't like that song. I really don't. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Josh and Penny. My sister had me looking for microphones and stuff that was on playing music. I'm like, oh, okay. So when okay, I'm going to share this with you. Okay, now this is a little bit about my story. I'm going to share a little bit about me. My dad died when I was very young. Okay, he died in an accident, and there were things that I heard about him that were, to say that they were not flattering would be an understatement. But yet he had this outward persona. He was this super preacher. He was this, and so I had to deal with the fact that the public saw him one way, and that on the other side, at home, he was a different way, if he was home, right? And I'm not speaking ill of the dead. I'm simply dealing with, what I went through after finding out all this, because I was so young. Long story short, I gotta be real. I spent a lot of time hating my daddy. I did. I was in church, but I spent a lot of time hating my daddy. I didn't call it hate, because I'd never call it hate, because I didn't want to go to hell, but I was hating my daddy. Well, I'll never forget the day that I stood up. I don't know what happened. I don't know what brought me to this point, but I was doing the work. I was doing the inside work, and I was dealing with things, dealing with stuff. And I realized in that moment, as I stood in the bathroom in front of the mirror, crying crocodile tears, I remember embracing the fact that I was my father's son. And in that moment when I broke, I could accept him for all the negative that he was. I could accept him for all the good that he was. And Carl Gustav Jung talks about shadow characters and how, you know, we make these, we build parts of our own personality by things that we say we hate, things that we don't want. And long story short, man, it got really deep for me because I began to see more of the very man that I hated in me. And so I had to stand in front of the mirror, and it was just, man, it was one of the moments I mean, look, this was an ugly cry. I'm not talking about, you know, a gentle, no, this was not a gentle tear. This was an ugly cry, right? I'm talking snot bubbles and everything. And I had to own the fact that I was my father's son. And in that moment, I could embrace him and I could respect him for who he was. When you have a parent that is not perfect, you should not expect perfection. Because guess what? You're not perfect. And you're going to do everything that you possibly can for your children. But they're going to find something, or something's going to come down the pike where they say, my mama did this wrong, my daddy did that wrong. It has happened generation after generation after generation. Just like you can look at your parents or your mom or your dad and see what they've done wrong, your children will also look at you, okay? And they will find something that you didn't even know that was considered to be wrong to them, but they're going to be like, yep. When you see that your parent is not perfect, don't expect imperfection out of them. Okay? We have to understand that if we embrace the fact that we're not perfect and we're dealing with issues, when I stood in front of the mirror and I had to embrace my own father, I recognized that if I had his upbringing in his time, with his level of wisdom and understanding, and the same things happened to me that happened to him, yeah, I probably would have made the same choice, or choices. So with that being the truth, and with that being what it is, I look at it and I say to myself, I can't expect perfection from him if I can't even expect perfection from myself. So stop persecuting others and stop persecuting yourself. Honor and respect those that deserve honor. Speak the truth, right? Be loving and kind in your truth. But just meet people where they are and deal with them according to where they are, without wishing them harm, without wishing them any kind of evil, and seek to help them, right? Seek to be a light unto them. All right? So with that being stated, let me just take a break. There are increasing numbers of Hebrew Israelites all over the world, from Asia to Africa, from Mexico to Germany. There are Hebrew Israelites that are coming together as a nation and as a family, and you are needed. You are needed to take your place as the educator of your families, your sons, your daughters. So we want you to enroll in Navi Beit University so that you can take your place in the kingdom.
Now is the time to prepare to create Hebraically centered scholarly materials to educate others, to teach your family, to teach your sons, your daughters, to teach the young, to teach the old, and to bring them into the knowledge of the Most High. The Most High is gathering us together as He has promised. So enroll in Navi Beit University, connect with the administrator and the registrars, and enroll today for just $35 for a bachelor's per month, or $45 for a master's, or even enroll in the doctorate program. You can get a degree with a Hebraic focus at Navi Beit University. Hebraic education, undergraduate, graduate, and specialty courses.
All right, I'm back. And you know what? I did see a question. Let me go ahead and address this question. My sister asked the question. She says, hey, do you think that the fifth commandment also applies to the in-laws? Okay. It does apply to the in-laws in the ancient culture, right, that we come from, which is also an African culture. And in fact, when I went to Ghana, I saw a little bit of it. Okay. There were these kids, right? There were these kids, they would play outside. Well, I was staying at a particular place with some family, and I look up and the kids had opened up the screen door and was just walking in the living room. Because over there, it's like, yeah, it really is tribal, right? Everybody's kids is everybody's kids. And they respect them. They respect the children for who they are, but the children also respect the adults for being parents, and they will obey you as if you are their parent. I know we have some mixed up concepts over here, but long story short, the in-laws are considered to be parents just as well, right? Which is why, especially in a lot of the depictions of African marriage, where you will see when the daughter goes to the groom's family, the mother will say, my daughter, and embrace them as the daughter. So yeah, that does go for them as well. It does fit. And I saw it firsthand when I was in Ghana. That yeah, I saw little children walking the street. I'm talking like 10:30, 11 at night. I'm talking about like 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds walking the street, like 6-year-olds. It's like, man, where's your, like for me, coming from the States, it's like, man, where's your mama, your daddy? But they are safe and no one's going to bother them. No one's going to mess with them. Women as well, right? The only thing you had to fear was who was going to say hello first, So, yeah. I'm not saying that every place is perfect in Africa or Ghana, but I'm just simply saying. Josh, Penny says, I can tangibly feel your pain. Hugs, Malkia. I wish I could hug you. Well, listen, thank you for the verbal hug. I appreciate it. I receive it all the well. Just as well, I receive it. Thank you. With that being said, I do appreciate some of the comments that I am hearing. I'm very thankful. My brother said, hey, I wish I had heard this. Wish I had heard this years ago. Thank you very much. Thank you as well, KOI, Oklahoma. Thank you. You all are, I appreciate what you're saying. So at this particular time, I want to just, give a recap and just simply say that we are to honor our mothers and our fathers. And, this has been the fifth commandment. It has been talking about something that gets a little deep when we look at the imperfection of our own parents. But do not forget about your own imperfections. And please make sure that you're doing what you can to be what you need to be for your family, what you need to be for your community, which is an example, okay? So when you look at it, we are a tribe, we are a family, we are together. And I can't wait until we're in a living kind of a situation together and we're able to be family together, right? We're able to be family together. So, all right, all right. Well, peace and blessings to each and every one of you. I think that with this being the case, if there are no questions, I think I am getting ready. I think I'm getting ready to skedaddle. Yep, I'm getting ready to skedaddle. And I'm just going to wait to see if there is another another question. If there is, we will entertain it. I'm going to give it just a few minutes and then we're going to, let you enjoy the rest of your evening. Be right back.
Hi, I'm Melchior Uriel, and I'm so delighted to meet you. I'm glad that you stopped by. I'm glad that you're curious, and I'm glad that you clicked on the video.
All right, we're back. Okay. Oh, my sister asked the question. She said, what did verse 24 say? What did verse 24? Which verse 24? Which verse 24? Hold on. Let me go back into the scriptures. Give me just a second, and I will. My brother George Evans, peace and blessings to you, my brother. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, it kind of reminds you of your dad, huh? Wow. Let's go back into the scriptures for a second. And I read a verse 24. Maybe it's Proverbs 28 and 24. It reads, if this is the one that you're referring to, whoso robs his father or his mother and says, it is no transgression, okay? The same is a companion of a destroyer. When you take from your own people and you rob your own people, you're actually destroying yourself and destroying your family. I think that is the only 24th verse that I have read. So perhaps that's the one that you were thinking about. Listen, for those of you that have not subscribed, if you are watching this right now and you have not subscribed, you have not joined our family, I'm asking you to do so now. Subscribe, do the notifications for any time we do new videos. You would be able to see what we're doing. Do that, please, okay? It helps us. Press the like button, also share the video. It helps us, really, it helps us. It's because of you that we've come a long way. We've come a very long way. And we need your help. Our next goal is to get to 400 subscribers. And we're close. We're within about 30, a little bit less than 30. So we need your help to get there. Why don't you help us to get there? Peace and blessings to you. I'm going to stop by the chat room just one more again. And let's just see. I don't think that we have any other. Oh, well, thank you, EJ Love. EJ Love says, great message. Thank you. She said in the chapter that you were just reading. Yeah, let me see where I 20 more to go. All right, 20 more to go. Oh, thank you, my sister. My sister asks, Repent and Save asks, well, how do we support you monetarily? Well, the Cash App does scroll on the bottom of the ticker for those of you that do want to help. That's great. Or you can go to the website itself, and there's a donate button on the website itself. Thank you for asking, my sister. And we do need your help. I ain't gonna tell no stories. We do need your help. So anything that you could do would be great. Thank you, sister. KOI Oklahoma says, going to plug this channel Sunday during my live. Wow. Oh, so you have listen, man, share your link. If you got a live, share your link. Share your link. I want to be a part. Share the link, man. Send it to my email or whatever you need to do, KOI. Please do, please do. And let's see, I think that we are good for comments. Listen, I love you all. Thank you so much for your time and for your attention. Those are two of the greatest gifts that I really do cherish that you give me. Each and every time you give me your time and your attention. And I appreciate that. Thank you. I try to make it worth the gas money every time you come here. So I think that, man, you know, I enjoy these times with you. I enjoy these sessions with you. But hey, I got to move on because my day is not done. So, hey, we will be back at you, right? The Most High willing. Oh, I can't wait for Shabbat morning coffee. May the Most High bless us to have Shabbat morning coffee. Yeah. So, all things being equal, I don't see any more comments or questions to me. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skedaddle for right now. And we're just going to go ahead and I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to say El Wiedersehen. How about that? I'm going to say El Wiedersehen. Right? Okay. So peace and blessings to you. I love you all. Shalom.